Hello, everyone, and welcome to Weekend Sports. Today, we're going to talk about the Lions trade deadline. The NFL trade deadline is on Halloween, so likely no trades are going to happen until after Monday Night Football. But the Lions are probably going to be aggressive and active for once being buyers instead of sellers at the deadline, which is going to be a weird thing for us to experience in general.
Has that been the general consensus? I mean, I don't. Is that how they've been sounding?
It's
I would think they. I don't want to give up too much, though. I guess everyone's saying after watching them play Baltimore. I mean, I think I'm not trying to be negative or anything like that. I still feel they're going to win probably about 12, 13 games. Um, but I don't want to give up too much for any of these high priced uh, people they might go after.
I don't think we're going to get aggressive, but I think you're going to try and fill in some holes, probably give up some mid round draft picks here and there, maybe get rid of some guys on the team you can get rid of. One of those would be probably Aquara. I think he's been on the trade block,
I was
potentially
listening to
involving a
the
deal.
fan. I was listening to the ticket, and they were saying that they'd love to see Jameson Williams packaged in some deal.
So I've seen some rumors of Jameson Williams being sent out, which I don't know if that is going to be part of a possibility. I don't think you're going to get rid of JMO. I think you're going to see what you can do with him. Get him a full off season where he can actually work with the team. He doesn't get suspended. Nothing bad happens. He can actually work and not be suspended and have to be away from the facility and not be able to be with the team and have to do stuff on his own. Actually get coaching for a while. I
Right.
don't think JMO's going to go anywhere. I think it'd be a mistake to trade him, give him his chance. Worst comes to worst, you don't sign him and you draft somebody to replace him.
Well, at this point, you wouldn't get much for him. I mean, I don't think he would bring him
Exactly.
a lot of value. Maybe a fifth round pick or something, fourth round pick.
Biggest holes, though, even though it's the healthier side of the ball for you, is your defense. I think they want to probably get better in the secondary and on the line for the push for the rest of the year. And I know there's been rumors of us getting Max Crosby. There's been rumors of us going after, I see Patrick Surtain from Denver because they've been sucking. You're going to be looking at the bad teams and who you can pick off of them.
Right. I mean, the players that I hear are unhappy are Chase Young and probably like a Patrick Surtain type who would we'd have to give up a number one pick probably for either. Maybe not for Chase Young, we wouldn't have to. I heard Max Crosby. There's no way the Raiders are going to give him up. I don't, and plus he's very
Probably
expensive.
not for what you want to give up.
Right.
There's another one that I see right here, Dante Jackson from Carolina. It's a cornerback, right? It's not going to be anything big. I think people need to kind of pump the brakes on expecting anything big to happen. I heard Washington wasn't doing anything with Chase Young, and they were not going to trade him until they are 100% aware of their situation in the year, whether they might have a chance at a playoff spot or not.
Which is smart. I like I said, I people are probably a little too enthusiastic about all this, but I don't really know if anything big is going to happen. Uh, Probably if something big were to happen, it would be probably more along the lines of Patrick Surtain or something like that. He is somebody that actually, with Denver being in the situation they're in, if you think he's worth two number one picks, I mean, you'd have him for probably the next 2 or 3 years. Um,
And
and to go along with Sutton, you'd be set at cornerback. Because Gardner Johnson probably, of all intents, they're not coming back next year. Um, or Mosley, those guys are not
mostly,
coming
probably,
back.
definitely not coming back next
So
year.
I mean, I think that would be something that would be very interesting. Um,
I could see CJ back next year. I don't know if he will be. I could see
I,
it maybe on another 1 year because he got hurt. Another 1 year prove it, but I don't know if he would.
I think you
I
could
think he
spend the
has a
money
he has
elsewhere
a higher possibility of coming back than Mosley does.
with Branch, with you know
But
back
I
there. We seem to have some decent safeties.
yeah.
Um,
Another guy who apparently has been connected to us, Brian Burns, also on Carolina. He's an edge rusher, which again
yeah,
it's not a good team trying to probably get some extra draft picks in for the upcoming
they're in
draft.
bad shape.
And
So
they don't
yes,
have their
that's
first
that.
round draft pick, so they're trying to get as many picks out of everybody as they can, probably.
That might make some
There might
sense.
be a fire sale out of Carolina with how they're playing. But yeah, Patrick Surtain out of
I heard
Broncos, he's a possibility.
in Derrick Henry. I've heard that he might be somebody we could grab.
But
from
would
the
you want to do
Titans.
that?
You
Depending
could probably
on
get him for like a 4th-round pick. And I'd have to see how healthy he is, because if he's healthy, I mean, he's like 29, 30. Is that what he right around
he's
there?
getting older, but I just don't know.
He's a
You are
beast.
more concerned about the running back side than I am. Of course, you have a bunch of injuries on your running back side, but when you get Montgomery back, what are you going to do if you have Derrick Henry, Montgomery, and Gibbs? Who's going to be the ones
your
that's not
three.
playing?
Then that's your 3.
You're going to make Gibbs be the number 3? I don't know if you want to fully do that.
Well, so far he hasn't earned the spot. He hasn't played that well that he's earned to be considered anything more than that at the moment. I think he's, unlike Jameson, he's shown a desire to work hard and to want to be out there. But so I still have hopes for him. But I mean, if Derrick Henry gives you an element that you didn't have, you could run that. Believe me, what was it when they used to have those Cleveland running backs? I mean, recently it's when they had Kareem Hunt and
Nick Chubb.
That was a good 1-2 punch.
Yep.
Same thing back in the day. That's always what Cleveland would have, those 2 running backs that were pretty damn. Kevin Mack was one of them, and I forgot who the other guy was and stuff. But
depending on how the trades exactly go, I could see maybe you using Gibbs more as a wide receiver. If you did get another big running back like Derrick Henry or anything like that, I could see you moving Gibson more into a wide receiver type of role,
right,
for the year until you get everything going.
That's a big reason why we had such a problem with Baltimore, is because we could not run the ball until like late in the 4th quarter. So Gibbs had a few good runs and stuff, but you gotta and Derrick Henry is a hell of a blocking back. He would help back there protecting Goff.
Probably, yeah.
Thing. I would not mind seeing what they would want for him. I'd probably go for a 4th-round pick for Derrick Henry.
It would be interesting to what we're exactly going to try to trade for, because we are going to be trying to improve the team at the deadline instead of getting the draft picks like we have in years past for many, many years.
Right.
Moving on to who we might see go. Number 1 that I see in this article is Marvin Jones, which, if you are going to go get Derrick Henry and put Gibbs as a wide receiver type, Marvin Jones can go. He hasn't done much this year. He hasn't really helped the team too much. He hasn't hurt the team either, but
which makes me sad in a way, because I kind of was, when they got him and I heard about they got him, I thought, that's kind of nice. They're bringing him back, and he was always a really good wide receiver when he was here with Stafford. So I was hoping he'd kind of have the same success, but it looks like he's lost something. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if that's the case, that's the case.
Another one that but now that I think about it, could be a big surprise to some people. But with Hendon Hooker being healthier and working out maybe a little bit and being able to potentially be your backup, could they trade Teddy Bridgewater?
Yeah, they could do that. I don't think they'll do that this year. I was kind of upset we didn't get to see him at the end of the Baltimore game. I thought it was ridiculous that they were still playing their starters into the 4th quarter of that game. It would have been nice to give Teddy Bridgewater a few snaps.
I could see him being part of a deal to a struggling team who might not, like a Carolina. Send him back to Carolina, get Bryce Young out of there, stop getting him killed, maybe get a little bit better veteran leadership potentially than what Andy Dalton's doing down there, and that kind of a deal. Or maybe New York, trade him to the Jets. Maybe the Jets have somebody we want.
You know what? That's a very smart. I would think the Jets would like a Teddy Bridgewater. Although Zach Wilson is starting to gain some confidence.
But someone behind Zach Wilson,
I don't think he wants.
Just in case things start to go downhill, because they don't have the most competent backup at the moment. I could see you trading Teddy Bridgewater for the Jets potentially for a piece. I don't know what we could get from the Jets, but that might be an interesting idea right there.
Right.
Another guy that might go because of how our O-line has been, even though it's been a little bit banged up, maybe Vaitai goes.
Could be. I mean, who would replace him on that line?
If everyone's healthy, it'd be Glasgow.
Oh, possibly.
So you have all that extra offensive linemen in your system right now. Maybe you get rid of one of them in a trade. Vaitai probably be the one you're going to get rid of out of everybody who's on that offensive line, who's a regular.
Right.
That I could see.
I just don't want to give up any real high draft picks or anything because we're not. At least I know people don't. We're not at a Super Bowl team yet. We're not there. We can come close, and like it's been discussed before by a number of people. In order for us to have a good shot at the Super Bowl, we got to be like the number 1 seed, or at least the number 2.
Yeah, you're gonna need a couple home playoff games.
You know, you saw what Goff. Nothing against Goff, but when it's bad weather, it's outside. He just does not have the arm strength, I think, to
fighting that wind. That was a bad wind in Baltimore.
Although, like I said, it was strange how, like last year, we saw him in Green Bay. He played well.
No wind.
But his kind of bombs are not bombs where they're hitting people in strides. They're just lofting them in the air and hoping somebody come run underneath them or something. It's just, he does seem to have issues when the weather is bad and it's outside. So, well, the weather's bad, it's going to be outside. So yeah, I would like that's it. It's
you don't want to get rid of the offensive lineman as much. You want to keep them protected. This one is kind of surprising, but at the same time, I've heard rumors all year about it. We trade James Houston. Broken ankle right now. We don't know how he's going to come back off of that. He was doing great last year. Sad he got hurt early on in the year this year. Who knows how the defense would have been. If you trade him in a deal to get a more experienced edge rusher and he goes to a team that's trying to rebuild, I don't know if that's necessarily a bad idea.
True.
If you traded him to Oakland or Vegas and got Max Crosby and they got Houston.
I think Max Crosby's a pipe dream. I would love Max Crosby. I would give up a number 1 for Max Crosby if they thought they could get him. That would be awesome bookends for us. But it just doesn't seem like the Raiders are interested in, from what
they probably won't, but because they are also trying to fight. But again, you ain't going to see no trade involving him until after we play him on Monday. So it's not going to matter.
Right. Monday is the trade deadline, right?
Tuesday.
And
then last but not least on this list that I see right here, Julian Okwara, which is like I said earlier, he's been one again all year on the trade block probably for us to potentially get out of Detroit in a deal. And I could see him going. I could see a few going.
Yep. I like I said, those are the kind of players that you're going to give up, use. I mean, they're the guys who are like a fringe, not quite, anybody that we super need. So we'll see. I think, like I said, the players that I've heard that interest me are Patrick Surtain, the Burns guy from Carolina, and probably Derrick Henry. Mm-hmm. Those are the names that I've heard that I kind of am interested in seeing if we could acquire it.
I don't see any additions on the offensive side of the ball. I see if you're going to make additions, it's going to be on the defensive side. I don't see any big holes on the offensive side where you're going to need it unless you are trying to add depth in running back. But otherwise, you're not going to go trade for a wide receiver.
Cooper Kupp.
You're not trading for anyone on the offensive line, right? Unless you're trying to find some random
trade J-Mo at a number 1 for Cooper Kupp. Unless you do that, man.
Unless you're trying to go find some fullback, even though they've been using Malcolm Rodriguez as a fullback.
What do we have to get? How is LA doing? Are they in the playoff hunt?
They have their ability to make the playoffs. They're doing okay.
You think if we offered them a number 1 and Jameson Williams?
I don't think so.
Maybe a number 1 Jameson Williams and Romeo Okwara?
No. I don't.
What would it take?
I think it would take 2 ones.
No, he's like almost 30.
I think they would take 2 ones.
No.
I think
no, they got that Nakua guy now. So
I think
he's doing really well. They don't need Cooper Kupp.
I think LA would want their stuff back.
No.
From the trade that we did with Stafford.
I think Cooper Kupp is
go
after.
Let's swap back. We'll trade him back. We'll trade him back, Jared Goff, and we'll start Hendon Hooker. We'll swap QBs again.
I'm trying to think of that. So number 1 pick, Jameson Williams, and if you want to throw in a 3rd round pick,
I don't think
You're
they would
giving
accept
them a young wide receiver to go with that Nakua, who's a rookie and doing great. And I don't know if that's such a bad deal.
No, I don't think they would do it. I don't think they would
What?
trade Cooper Cup out of L.A.
Can you imagine that? Have
I don't think they
Kupp
would.
and St. Brown out there with Reynolds and Khalif Raymond.
They're
That
not
would
gonna
be
do it.
fantastic.
They will not do it. I
Come
don't think they
on.
would trade.
They
Cup.
owe us. We got them a Super Bowl because of us.
I don't think they feel they owe us anything with how good Goff has been playing for most of the year. Besides this week, they think that
They owe us.
and you basically, if you trade them JMO, you give them their pick back.
I'm for it. I'm gonna start promoting that. That's the only
Cooper Cup to Detroit. That's what you want.
Trade. Cooper Cup for JMO, a number 1 and a number 3.
It's not gonna happen. But with that being said, though, if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys thinking on there. Right? Who you think we're gonna trade for? All that fun stuff involving the trade deadline. Share the video. Until next time, hope to see everybody.
I was sending it out to Dan Campbell and Brian.
It's not gonna happen.